struggling to come to grips with reality. Confusion and chaos have become part of me. I seek answers to know where my liberation lies. Only in peace and calmness does that clarity arise. Transmissions of wisdom bring me insights of reason. Let my mind expand to the higher states. My mortality is no longer at stake. Let me hear the wisdom transmissions. The wisdom transmissions. So many voices, so many interpretations. No answers given, only outer temptations. Where can I find that truth inside of me? Realization of what I am is all I'm wanting to see. Transmissions of wisdom bring me insights of reason. Let my mind expand to the higher states. My mortality is no longer at stake. Let me hear the wisdom transmissions. The wisdom transmissions. No more redirection, ending the contemplation. Forget fighting reflection. Outer world's a projection. Internal is the cause, external's an effect, put it on pause. I'm silencing the noise, centering, entering void. Truth is beautifully subtle, the voice without a voice. Heart and mind shall settle, making decisions now, escaping illusions of choice. Transmissions of wisdom bring me insights of reason. Let my mind expand to the higher states. My mortality is no longer at stake. Let me hear the wisdom transmission. The wisdom transmissions.
And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of the Wisdom Nexus. Good to be with all of you here today. Thank you for being here. So again, I will be taking some personal questions by donation as well too. Okay. So today is another viewer topics discussion. Next week, I'm going to be bringing back Athena, and we're going to be doing Delphi Inner Earth connection as well too. We're going to be checking in with her. So that will be next Wednesday. So again, you want to tune into that. It's going to be very exciting. Right now, we're just got a couple of announcements here, or just one announcement, I should say. So AetherX right now, again, for those of you who may not know, AetherX is online. Okay, so again, here is Radiate. Radiate is the bioscalar app. There is a free version that you can download. This has been around now for almost 2 years. I am currently working on a second version of Radiate, looking to debut it around the time of April. I'm also building a miniature version of it through another name called Hamsa. That should be coming out very soon as well too. That too is a healing app that will be part of the suite of the new Radiate Amrita that will be coming here very soon as well. The new remote source bed kit is now available. So this is a digital bed kit, you could say. It's a digital download once you order it. It's the world's first virtual healing rejuvenation system. So basically, you're printing out some components with it. You're putting that on your bed, and I have it on my bed, and I've had amazing sleeps with it. So again, you can check out the remote source healing bed, the AetherX source deck body set. This is now out as well too. I'm currently working on the energy set. It should be ready here in the next few days as well too. So that will be coming out. Now again, for American clients, because some people are uncertain with the whole tariff situation that's going on, AetherX products are not affected by the tariffs. Okay, I've already done an appraisal on AetherX just to make sure of that. All of the physical products that we sell on AetherX are not affected by the trade war between Canada and the US. Okay, so they are not going to be tariffed. They are not tariffed products. Okay, so you guys are more than welcome to check out AetherX. All of the physical products that we have here, specifically between Canada and the United States, are completely fine. Okay, you will not get tariffed for that. So I'm just letting everybody know that. So again, as you go onto AetherX and you want to check out some of the physical products that we have, these are print on demand. We again have the digital decks here. We have some physical decks left as well too. We got the Ankh, we got the manifestation wheel, we got the healing sprays and the oils. We got engraved products as well too. We got the flashlight, again, that's imbued with scalar, source center vibration. We got healing crystals as well too. Bracelets, necklaces. We even have the Hand of Jupiter manifestation sphere that's available. We got things for your vehicle. We got clothing. We got healing accessories here. So again, it's all available. No tariff charges between Canada and the US. So again, check out etherx.co if you're interested. Okay, so we're going to go ahead now and move on to today's broadcast. So yes, Wisdom Transmissions with the private sessions that I've done is officially finished right now. So again, I am revamping the website, and it will be coming out here in about a month or so with the new direction, with the idea of mentoring and coaching and working with the serious clients. Okay, so that's going to be taking place. I'm also building a couple of other new websites as well too. So I'm keeping busy. I'm kind of drifting in between my metaphysical work and non-metaphysical work as well too. There's new ideas I'm bringing out. So it's going to be really exciting, getting busy. And I want to thank everybody again who has supported me over the years for the private sessions. I really have enjoyed them. It's kind of just like, there's just a point in your life where you kind of outgrow the sessions, and Brianne is now starting to really shine, and she loves the work that she's doing, and she wants to get clients, and I thought the best way to do this is kind of introduce my clients to her. And so that's what she's doing right now. So quite a few of my clients are going to her right now. And that's great. That's exactly what I'd like to see, because like I said, I'm just kind of phasing out of that old factor of my life. That's kind of the old Brad. The new Brad is working with coaching and mentoring and new ideas and new businesses. In that way, I'm working on several different businesses at once. Okay, some metaphysical, some non-metaphysical. So that's really where I'm putting a lot of my energies, but I'm here every single week, every single Wednesday. So that will still continue. The Adronis Patreon is still available, so I'm doing weekly classes every single Sunday. So again, you can check that out. It's patreon.com/Adronis. There it is right there on the ticker. Okay, patreon.com/Adronis. I have a brand new tier that is on the patreon.com/Adronis website, and that is a $99 tier. So that's where if you still want to do a 30-minute session with me, but as a student, right? Kind of different with a student, because a student is getting all this information that's contained on the Patreon. Then you can certainly do that as well too. Okay, so there's a $99 monthly tier that is on Patreon right now. There's also the $18. It's going to be $25 very soon, but that's the smaller tier, and that gives you access to all of the videos and also the weekly classroom. So weekly classroom is every Sunday, and it is held on Zoom. Okay, let's go ahead and get started and get into some questions here. It's kind of a slow start this morning, but I know as we continue to go, it's going to get bigger. So again, guys, if you do have any questions for me, any personal questions, feel free just to use the YouTube Super Chat. Okay, you can leave a donation, just a single question, please. That also includes healing work. Okay, so if you need some healing work, if you have a friend who also needs some healing work as well too, and you want to put that down on the chat, that is welcome as well. Okay, I'm not here to work with their emotional core stuff, but if they're having back pain, if they have a headache, if they're recovering in certain ways and they need some help, you can certainly put that as a single request through donation. Okay, so again, guys, just a reminder, I'm just doing personal questions by donation. Okay, everything else that's non-donation are generalized questions. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. We have first donation here of the day. This is from MLK. MLK says, hi, could you look into the Akashic, why I'm in isolation, alone, no social life? Someone said it was part of past life requests that influenced this life. That's not the problem. You see, that's someone else's outward excuse based upon what you're feeling inside, okay? You know, unfortunately, what I would say to a person like that is they're not tuning into you at all. They are assuming something. They're assuming something's wrong with you. They don't want to bother to look into you and say, oh, yeah, well, it's kind of just because there's a past life thing and you can't get over it, okay? That's what I would call a cop-out, okay? That's not the whole idea. Basically, what I would say, MLK, is if I'm looking into you right now, where you said that you're isolated, you're alone, you have no social life, you've been hurt, you've been abused, okay? People have violated your trust. You have been stepped over. You have felt like, again, that people have basically just walked all over you. You feel like you're not too sure about humanity. You feel, again, that there's just the idea of a lingering trust between yourself and others. You feel like others have let you down, right? So there's too much anguish. There's too much pain. Forget about the other past lifetimes, okay? They do play a part, but the whole idea is that those are just memories, okay? When you're looking into other lifetimes, those are no more different than the memories that you have right now of this present lifetime. And I hear so many people put those excuses out, oh, but Brad, this could have happened in a past lifetime. And we're not dismissing that this hasn't happened, but you have to use it rightly, okay? And so many people would just utilize that as an excuse. Oh, you know, I know I probably just got hurt in quite a few lifetimes. I was probably killed or murdered or strangled or whatever it may be. And then it's being hard in this lifetime. I'm like, no, guys, that's not how it works, okay? Everything pertaining to that is reflecting on what you're going through right now. It's not to say that people have not had some very, very devastating memories through other lifetimes, but they have to correlate together with what you're feeling right now. And what I would suggest firstly is that you're looking into your own bound memories right here on planet Earth in this lifetime as who you are right now. Whereas the Akashic can be an extension to that, yes, because I teach people how to access the Akashic records, and I teach them how to access it properly, because a lot of people don't, right? They basically are just pulling up imagination through themselves that they're creating and thinking that that is exactly what's happening. They're not letting the one-way flow come through, right? So a lot of people can be duped like that. Unfortunately, guys, 90 to 95% of people that are doing a lot of this work on the internet are not properly trained, okay? They're basically what we call the armchair psychics, okay? They basically don't train themselves. They don't do their inner work. They don't listen to themselves. They're basically say, hey, this is pretty cool. This is a lucrative job. I'll get into it. Or they want it for attention or whatever else their means is. And I've worked with a lot of people in that sense who are skilled psychics, but they know nothing of actually going within and actually starting to clean themselves out, and that's a priority. If you don't clean yourself out, you're not going to know anything about, you know, what you're actually trying to receive. Now, again, as I've always talked about, is that you want to go into the substrata. You want to go into the alpha, the theta, the delta, okay? It's because that is how you're able to tune in to the extensions of yourselves, okay? If you're basically staying in the beta brain, right? I'm trying not to say ego too much because people get annoyed with that. So I basically refer to it as the beta brain, right? You're in the beta brainwave state. That's the ego plane. That's where you're reactionary. That's where you're unfocused, okay? So MLK, as I'm looking at you, like I said, with isolation, alone, no social life, you've been hurt. You've been stamped upon. You've been basically feeling like you've been abused and hurt, okay? So we need to start from the beginning, okay? This is the key. The reason why we may feel isolated, hurt, no social life, alone, you're trying to avoid people because you've been hurt. you've been rejected, you've been abused, and we don't know where to start. We think, oh, maybe I should look at the things in the last couple of years. No, you go back to the beginning. And the beginning represents childhood years, starting with the first person, your mother. Okay? How is your relationship with your mother? And if your mother's relationship was very, very shaky, that's where we start. Then we go to the father. And if you have siblings, we go to them. And if you have extended family, we go to them. And if you have best friends at that time, you go to them. You have your school, you go to that. You have the people in your school, you go to that. You have your church, right? If you're raised up in religion, you go to that. You are looking at the entire environment and inner circle of when you were little. Brad, why do you suggest that we go back into the earlier parts of our lives? Because you don't know how to discern as a kid. And everything, I would say 90 to 95% of the pain that you're carrying right now comes from your childhood. Because you don't know how to discern. You absorb as a kid. You're a sponge. You absorb everything. Someone's yelling at you. Someone's pulling a prank on you. Someone's bullying you. You carry that in you for the rest of your life. Particularly if you don't have parents or you don't have family, you don't have any particular type of person who can help you to clean that out, you're going to be carrying that for the rest of your life. And now if you're carrying that for the rest of your life, you're going to continue to get these cycles of pain where you feel isolated, where you feel alone, where you feel like you're stepped upon, where you feel like you can't trust people because you have not healed your childhood. 0 to 7, 7 to 14, 14 to 21 years old. These are the 3 urgent age groups that you need to look into. You got to start wringing out your sponge. I mean, goodness, for nearly 18 years, I've worked with tens of thousands of clients, and nobody has wrung out their sponge. I have never really come across a person who's completely clean. Okay? Who basically says, Brad, I've done all my inner work. I don't think they need to be talking to me, of course, right? But I have not, even if I'm not doing a session, if I'm meeting people, and I've met lots of people, no one's clean, okay? The only there's a couple people that are clean, but they're not clients of mine, right? But the reason why they're clean is because they know how to do their inner work. But 99% of you don't do it, right? 1% of you do. 99% of you don't. And that's so important, right? If we don't do that, now look what's happening, okay? MLK is the perfect example of this, is that we get isolated, we get alone, we get hurt, we don't want to contact anybody. Why? Because we've let ourselves stay hurt. We've let ourselves bleed out, and we don't let ourselves heal. And so this is not like the only person that's there. 99% of you are like this, okay? And you're not going in and you're not cleaning yourself out. And what I often tell you guys is it's easy and it's simple. Brad, how can you say that? Because you're going into the substrata. You're going into the alpha theta. Okay? So MLK, like I said, as I tune into your field, as I step right into you, you're hurt, you're abused. You have basically the feeling of people not being trustworthy, right? People letting you down. People close to you just betraying you or feeling hurt or feeling that they're letting you down, that they're not going to be there for you, okay? And that's why you don't have any particular form of motivation whatsoever to go out and talk to people, to feel isolated. You've been hurt. You are crowded up in the corner and just, feeling completely and totally abandoned by the world. So as I said, this is the important thing, is that we can know how to align that. We can heal it. We can correct it. Okay? But you have to do what I'm telling you here. And what I'm telling you to do is you need to go into those deeper brainwave states. I can live in the past as a hurt 10-year-old. And if that's a tragedy in my life, then I'm never Brad the 46-year-old man. I'm Brad the 10-year-old hurt boy. Which means I've never been able to experience myself as a 46-year-old man. I've only seen myself as a hurt 10-year-old boy because I'm gushing out these wounds that have been hurt, that have been violated all throughout these years. And what I need to do is I need to ask myself two questions. Number one, as I look at myself right now, am I willing to change myself so that I can become better? If the answer is yes, good. Congratulations. That's a big step. Let's go to question number two. Am I ready to apply this right now? Okay. So if I'm ready to apply this right now, then I'm ready to start doing the work. Okay. But those are the two questions that all of you have to ask yourself. Can I change? And can I let this go right now? Can I apply this right now? Okay. Once you're there, we now start going into the substrata. Okay. The substrata is the alpha, theta, delta. That's where you want to be to do your inner work. You cannot do it through beta. You have to do it through alpha, theta, delta. So what do? We do Shambhavi Mudra, looking up, okay, not straining your eyes, just a soft gaze upwards, 30 seconds. Then we go to Vichaka Pranayam, nose breathing, okay? Inhale for 4, exhale for 8, inhale for 4, exhale for 8. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Do that about 10 to 12 times, okay? Getting yourself into the Vichaka Pranayam. Brad, what is this doing? Why should I even do that? That is stimulating your parasympathetic nervous system. That is stimulating the vagus nerve in your body. That is making your body more relaxed, more calm. The more relaxed and calm and at rest you are, the more that your own energy expands, your consciousness expands, based upon working together and stimulating the vagus nerve, the dorsal vagal complex, the parasympathetic nervous system, the left amygdala, the right hippocampus is getting stimulated as you're doing the Shambhavi Mudra, as you're doing the Vichaka Pranayama, and then finally going into the 25-second countdown, where every single second that you count down from 25 to 1 is making you more relaxed, more calm, more at ease. 25, 24, 23, okay? And you keep counting down, and every second you count down, you're feeling more relaxed, you're feeling more at ease. If you want to add an extra 25 seconds again, go ahead and do it, okay? But keep doing it so you start to feel relaxed. And this may be a ridiculous question to some, but for many people, it's actually very valuable. So, Brad, how do I know when I'm relaxed? You'd be amazed at how many people ask me this question. People don't know how to be relaxed anymore. They don't know. They think that when they're tense, they're relaxed. Okay? So again, guys, this is too much entranced garbage that we're going through. Too much phone, too much computer, right? Not enough time to connect with nature, to see just who the hell you are. Okay? You need to spend more time with yourself, with nature, okay? With the subtleties of life. So when you know that you're doing this work, number one, you check your eyes. Are they dilated? Number two, is there a little more saliva in your mouth? Number three, are your hands starting to buzz? Is there like a strong magnetic sensation around your hands? Are they getting warm or are they getting hot? Okay? Number four, are we looking at feeling a buzzing and tingling around the chest, around the back, around the shoulders, around the arms, or perhaps even goosebumps? Okay, that's a sign as well. Number five, the feeling like your cells are very gently vibrating. Okay, so any of those particular signs can let you know, even if you just have one of them, that you're entering the substrata. Okay, you're going into the alpha, theta, delta. If you want to make headway, guys, just do what I tell you, okay? And I'm not saying that to be imposing or anything of that nature, but when I tell you that you actually do these things, and people that actually do it, they come back to me and say, oh my God, Brad, I did it. I went into the substrata. I was able to clear these things out. I was able to let all these things go. Congratulations. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I'm trying to teach you, okay? So MLK, that's what I'd suggest is number one, you go into the substrata. As you go into the substrata, you start lifting yourself up and you start becoming aware of your problems. You're aware of the problems. You are like the queen sitting on top of a throne. You are high up there now. And now all problems are down here. And what you're learning to do is completely and totally re-edit your reality. You're shifting everything. You're correcting things. So we need to go back to the beginning. And then we start looking, how's my relationship with my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, my extended family, my best friend back in the day, my school, my religion, right? All of those things, that's what I'm looking at. And I'm clearing them out altogether. And I say, okay, this is what happened when I was 10 years old. It involved my father, and we had an argument. That's all I need to know. Here's the emotion involved. Here's the trauma involved. Okay, I was angry, I was sad, I was fearful. Those are the emotions. In the traumas, I felt abandoned, rejected, abused, and I wanted to run away, escape. Okay? What I'm teaching you guys here is the trauma transcendence technique. That's available for free on wisdomtransmissions.com. That hasn't gone anywhere. That's still there. Okay? Then we basically drill down. And the point of drilling down is that we want to sense if there's a feeling of great shame surrounding this event, right? With this event happening, and if I go into the very greater depths of this event, do I feel a lot of shame there? Yes. Great. Now we have everything we need. Now we put it into a ball. Now we start Om chanting. Om. And we do it again. And we do it again, and we do it again, Om, until we feel that ball completely disappear. Once that is done, we go inside ourselves. We ask if there is still that problem that exists within me. If it's still there, we put it back into a ball. We take the remainder. Om, we clear it out. We purge it. Now what you feel is the absence of the problem. You got to celebrate that. Okay, so this is not just for MOK, this is for all of you. Work with the trauma transcendence technique. Okay, it helps you. I'm giving you guys like the answer right here. But you have to want to make yourself better. And unfortunately, with a lot of people that I've talked to, they want somebody else to make them better. You got to get out of that mentality right away, because you are going to be used like a puppet with that type of mentality, right? You have to get into the mentality of learning to work with yourself. Because what I'm teaching you, my friends, here is not complicated. It's not rocket science. It's simplicity. Okay? So MOK, I hope that helps you. Thank you so much. All right, let's go ahead and move on. We got a couple more donation-based questions here. This one here is from Chiron949. Thank you for your donation. What advice does my higher self have for me in regards to me trying to build a foundation before I fully dive into parallel reality shifting? Your basic reality, your foundation that you need to build is the substrata. Okay? Guys, that's the point. Your only foundation that you need to build is teaching yourself to go into the substrata. I am doing the very best I can to try to make this crystal clear for all of you. What you need to do to heal yourself is to get out of the beta brainwave state. The beta brainwave state, when it comes to a person who is wounded, it is poison. It's poison for you. It is disorganized. It is unfocused. It is crude. It is reactionary. You're reacting to everything around you. Because when you're in the beta, you're only alone with your own thoughts. You're alone with your own thoughts. You're alone with your own feelings. You're alone with your own emotions. It shuts you out. All of the dirty electricity and dirty technology that's around us right now, do you know what that's designed to do, guys? That's designed to keep you into the beta brain. It is designed to keep you in beta. We got to get out of beta. And in order to do that, we start going into the substrata, the 3 exercises. This is exactly what I said with MLK, applies to all of you too. That's not just for MLK, that's for you guys, all of you. You got to get out of the beta. You got to get into the alpha, theta, delta. That is what I call the substrata. Okay? You need to get into the substrata mind. Your frequencies need to go deeper. They need to be entrenched in the alpha, theta, delta. Brad, why? Because the alpha, theta, delta does not have reaction. It's not susceptible to emotions. Okay? Emotions can't go there because it's much more of a deeper realm. They have to stay in beta. Beta is where all this stuff happens. When you go into alpha, you start moving into a deeper state of focus. You start concentrating yourself more. When you're in that state of concentration, you're letting all of that unfocused state, all that crudeness starting to wash away. And you're focusing yourself on a particular point. It could be your breath, just working on the breath. Could be the idea of just a sensation of you looking up. Okay? It could be an om. That's fine too. It's focusing the mind. That's a very good thing. That's what we want. Okay? Then we start going into the theta, and the theta starts moving you much more deeper into like an active daydream-like state. It's like when I connect with Adronis. I'm in theta all the time with him. Okay? I'm in theta delta, basically. And then when you go into delta, the delta is really great because that's a regenerative brainwave frequency. Okay? When you go to sleep at night, you are going into delta. Okay? Delta is kind of like dreamless sleep, but then you immerse yourself and you go into rapid eye movement. So we want to go into the substrata to work between the alpha and theta bands quite commonly. Okay? Once that's there, that's what you do. Your higher self is basically telling you, how about you come into my domain? Because I reside within the alpha, theta, and delta bands. I don't reside in beta, right? And then as you start immersing yourself into those bands, the gamma frequencies start coming up a little bit later on, okay? But that's based on a certain state of being that you align to, okay? You have to align to a certain state of being. So then as I talk about, we go into the living law. Now that we go into the living law, as I said, you firstly want to do your foundational work that represents healing the younger years, right? Taking care of your childhood traumas, clearing them out, okay? Just as I taught you here. Go into the substrata, work with something like trauma transcendence technique, go and look at these problems. You're seeing them for what they are. You see the life force energy within them. You're purging them away. You're clearing them out. I don't need to be with you anymore. I choose to rise above you. I choose to live above you. I'm releasing you now. Be gone. Even just something like that works. Okay? So the foundation is going into the substrata, cleaning out your childhood memories, okay, that represent trauma, cleaning that out, wringing the sponge. Then we're going into the living law, right? Through the living law, we're working with proper manifestation. And what that means is that you have to learn to immerse yourself into the reality that you prefer, okay? Now, there's a fellow by the name of Neville Goddard who, back in the 1930s, 1940s, 50s, 60s, and even the 70s, was teaching people how to manifest properly because he's the only teacher who's actually doing it right. Okay? A lot of these other manifestation teachers are not doing it properly. One of the exercises he teaches is to have what's known as a 2-chair exercise. This is what I teach my students as well too. Okay? It's so good, that's why I'm using his technique because it works so well. You basically have 2 chairs. You have one chair in one room. You have another chair in another room. Both chairs are not seeing each other. You go into the first chair, and the first chair is what we call chair A, okay? In chair A, you're sitting down there and you're being aware of your physical body. And you're just sitting there for about a minute, okay? Then you go into chair B, which is located in another room. Again, 2 chairs cannot see each other, right? So when you're sitting in the chair, you cannot see chair B. If you're sitting in chair B, you cannot see chair A, okay? They're in 2 different rooms. When you go into chair B, you are basically bringing the consciousness body into chair B, which means with chair B, you are feeling yourself sitting in chair B, but without a body. Nonetheless, you have the sensations intact, right? So if I'm looking at my chair here, I have 2 armrests. I'm aware of what the texture feels like. I'm feeling the texture of the chair. I can feel the sensation of my back leaning against the chair. I can feel my feet on the ground. I can feel the hardwood floor. I can breathe in the air even though I'm in a consciousness body. I can feel the temperature of the environment. So what I'm doing is I'm feeling the environmental stimulation while I'm sitting in chair B. But while I'm sitting in chair B, I'm free. What chair B represents is the ideal you. It represents the refined you. which means everything that represents chair B is manifestation fulfilled. That's the nature of chair B. And then we sit in chair B for about a minute. Then we go back to chair A. And then we again feel the physical side. Okay, and then we're feeling everything pertaining to our restraints, feeling everything pertaining to our conditions. We're just being aware of it. Then we go back to chair B again, and we feel the consciousness body. And now again, the consciousness body is everything pertaining to manifestation fulfilled. And now you feel a difference. You may actually start to feel a magnetic tug bringing you from chair A to chair B, chair A to chair B. And you're now starting to feel that magnetic tug and feeling a difference as soon as you're sitting in chair B as the consciousness body. Everything about you has been fulfilled. Every manifestation has been fulfilled. You have no chains on you anymore. You are completely unshackled. So that's the training that we're learning to do. This is what Neville Goddard taught his students, is to work with they call it the consciousness chair teleportation exercise. I just call it the 2-chair exercise. But working together with the 2-chair exercise, you are shifting in between bodies. A conditioned body that represents your physical in chair A, and the unconditionalized consciousness body that's sitting in chair B. And you're just feeling both of them, right? What I recommend is that you put one chair outside, like on your balcony or on your porch or something of that nature, because you're going to notice a shift in temperature. And when you shift into chair B, you're going to feel like there may be a light cold draft, right? Or maybe something's warmer, depending upon your climate. And you're feeling that while you're in your consciousness body. Okay? So this is a very, very helpful exercise. But Sharon, for you to build a foundation, this is the key, right? To build your foundation, we got to clean up our past. We can't be bleeding out everywhere, because that's what we've done. Our childhood needs to be clean, cleanest in the way that we can ever make it. Because who's going to do it for you? Nobody's going to clean out your childhood for you. That's your job. Okay? And we're doing that so that we can actually start living life. That's the key, right? We can now start exploring new things. We can now start seeing new potential realities that we can now start manifesting, like I said, through chair A to chair B. Chair B is every single manifestation fulfilled. So that's how we learn to build a much more advanced foundation, by learning to sit in chair B. And going back and forth between chair A and chair B, I can look into the idea about how conditioned I am in the physical body. And then I go into chair B and I can see how I've liberated myself in chair B. Chair B is my liberated self. There's no chains, there's no shackles. Every particular manifestation that I could ever imagine has been fulfilled sitting in chair B. That's what chair B feels like. You're a billionaire there. You are in optimal health there. You have the relationship of your dreams there. You've done so much incredible traveling and you have incredible stories to tell while you're sitting there, right? You have so much love. You can feel the connection to the divine while you're sitting in chair B. That's this training. This training is brilliant, okay? So chair A represents your current conditioned self. Chair B represents your liberated consciousness body self. And I want you guys to practice that. 2 chairs in 2 different rooms, okay? Even if one chair is outside, which is what I'd recommend, because now you're feeling the shift. Now you're not just feeling that magnetism, you feel the actual shift while you're sitting in chair B. So give that a try. That's what I'd recommend. Okay, thank you. Let's go on to Sylvain. Sylvain has a question here. Hi, Adronis. This is an Adronis question. Can you help me understand what is the message my higher self wants to tell me about what's going on with me and why I have these bursts of anger that keep growing inside me over time? Okay, so I will go ahead and bring Adronis in, and he can share some insight on this. Okay, here we go. For Sylvain. Terra Soul Star Siria we are here at this time. We bid you greetings and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning in to this broadcast being brought forward through your internet collective consciousness. We want to thank you very much, Sylvain, for your question. From what your higher self wishes to provide, well, again, we are just being an ambassador for your higher self altogether. But again, as where you feel that the message coming through about these bursts of anger is directed mainly towards yourself. You see, you have people in your life that have tested you. You have people in your life who have basically pushed your buttons. But what you have decided to do is bury a lot of things. And people who are not being adversarial to you will get the brunt of your anger, because you know that they're not going to do anything. Whereas when you look at the people who have pushed your buttons, and if you basically try to bear the brunt of your anger towards them, you will feel like there's severe consequences waiting. So this is the idea of really a great deal of anger towards yourself that has been this build up representing all of this anger, this basically, shall we say, aggressive rage that has been stirring within yourself. It's like it's sitting right in the belly and it's ready to come out. So rather than feel like you want to take it out on people who have done nothing to you because you don't feel repercussion will be there, we can tell you repercussion will be there. If you ever try to vent out your problems towards others, you are again creating a cycle that is not going to be flattering for yourself at all. Rather, we need to look at this particular anger and let it out constructively in our own private space. Not really letting it out as in being a burst, but letting it out to understand exactly why it's there. And you may need to have a self-conversation. I am feeling so tired that I've had to do so much for other people and I don't get any particular form of return. I don't feel like I'm being treated well. I feel like, again, I've been the constant victim, etc., etc. You're letting it all out, but not in an aggressive way, in a constructive way, through a means of self-conversation. So you're putting it down on a piece of paper. You're writing it out in a particular way, whichever way you wish, and you're letting it go. As you let it out, let it go at the same time. And as you talk it out, let it go at the same time. If that's not working, then what you need to do, fundamentally, is again, start from the beginning. As Brad has shared with you, that you're working together in being able to look at the pieces of, say, when did this start? How was my relationship with parents, etc.? You see? So again, all of these bursts of anger is you sitting on the idea of feeling that you have been, shall we say, wronged. You're sitting on this wrongness. You have these bursts of anger because you've been holding on to it for so long. It's like a pressure cooker that wants to burst and you're not letting the valve open. All that steam, all of that heat is sitting inside yourself for years. And now people that are not doing anything to you, you feel like you have to let it out on them because you feel there's going to be no repercussions whatsoever if I let out that valve of steam and I let it spew out and another person is going to bear it. It doesn't matter. I don't really know the person, or this person is just too nice. They're not going to do anything. So I guess I can let it out on them. That's your mentality. And that, again, as we stated, is going to bring repercussion. You need to have your own private space, your own self-conversations, your own opportunity for inner work to make this better. Because all that's really been happening is you putting up with other particular people's, as you would say, reflections put back upon you that you do not like, that you feel is unfair, that you feel is unjust, that you feel in that sense you've been taken advantage of. And it stores itself there. And it buries itself down. And at some particular point, it's going to buckle and it's going to want to be let out. And those are the bursts of anger that we're talking about. So you need to pay attention to what Brad has shared today about the idea of building a foundation, about the idea of going into the substrata, about the idea of having your own space to work together with yourself and clear this out. All right? We thank you for your question. Okay. Definitely feels like a healing day today, everybody. We got a lot of healing questions here. Let's go ahead and move on. Okay, we have another donation-based question here from Octurus Light. Octurus Light says, "Hi Brad, could you please do an Akashic or tarot reading on the U.S. housing market to see if a buying opportunity may be coming soon? Prices are high right now and feel out of reach for many people." It's the same way for a lot of places over the world. Okay, but like I said, 2026 is actually a deflation year. Okay, it's not going to happen right from the get-go, but we're going to be seeing a lot more deflation coming together this year. Okay, later on down the road. Throughout this year, there's actually going to be a lot more deflation taking place. So, again, we really just started the year. But we'll take a look at the housing market for the U.S. just as it is right now. I'm going to use the tarot for that and see what comes up. Okay, here we go. Good news is things are going to be getting better. Okay, so this is telling me right now that this is going to change. Okay, we're looking at the idea because this is wand, and wand is fire, wand is action. Okay, and we have a youth here, which means things are on the rise. Things are going to start rising up. Okay, there's going to be an opportunity for new growth. There's going to be an opportunity for that deflation, as I talked about. Okay, so this is again where the markets are going to start adjusting themselves. Housing markets are actually going to start getting a little bit better, particularly with the U.S. And that's one of Trump's intentions, I believe, as well too, is that he wants to improve the housing market. Okay, so there's going to be more deals. So this again is representing the Three of Pentacles. This can represent Pentacles. I don't know what Pentacles came from. Three of Pentacles. Okay, so this can represent the idea of trade, of sharing, of community, of group working, of the idea of the industry starting to boom a little bit more. Okay, 2026 is actually going to be pretty good for housing markets. Okay, near future, we're going to see things grow. We're going to see things get better. Okay, the housing market, ding, 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 is going to start deflating. Not right away, again, we're in February, but as we start going throughout the year, probably mid to late part of the year, we're going to see some things, okay? We're going to be going over some pretty big humps, okay? There's still some challenges to work out in the background, but right now we're going to be doing pretty well relating to the nature of deflation, okay? So housing markets are eventually going to start deflating. Because again, like I said, the reason why there's been so much inflation is because we have had a universal 8 and a universal 9 year. When you have a universal 8 and a universal 9 year, basically those past 2 years have really been the inflation years. Those are the years that inflate. 8 and 9 are inflation years. 1 is not. 1 is a deflator. Okay, 1 will deflate the balloon. Even if it's a really gigantic balloon, we're just letting out the valve and shh, it starts to deflate. So what I'm getting here, even from what the tarot is even confirming, is that we're looking at a deflation of the housing market. Because as I've talked about, 2026 is the year of revolution. Okay, not only that, is a year of deflation. Not only that, in that sense, it's a complete and total year of breakdown representing old rigid systems. The old systems are breaking down. Revolution is coming in many different forms. Okay, so again, it's not just a bunch of people on the street protesting or rallying in that way. It's also the idea that the state of revolution is knocking down these rigid barriers all over the place. Okay, so we're going to see opportunities for houses to become, the housing market to become deflated. Okay, so prices are going to start going down here very soon. That's what 2026 represents. That's not theory, my friends. That's not belief. That's fact. That's the energy that 2026, as the fire horse, as the #1 universal year, holds. #1 energy represents, again, it's like that arrow, okay? That arrow is shooting straight up, which means we're moving into a new ascent. It's new beginnings, it's new ideas, it's new conversations. It's watching everything that we went through last year pummel to the ground. And we're seeing new opportunities unfold. We are seeing deflation because you are lightening yourself up. There's that one energy, that one arrow, right? That one energy is drive, determination, dedication, passion, assertiveness, sometimes even aggressiveness as well too. To knock down all of these walls, to be a wrecking ball, and to knock down these rigid structures that have been standing in the way, preventing the opportunity of new growth. All of that's going to be taken down. Okay, as I've said specifically over the years, not a single stone is going to be left unturned. Everything is going to change, just as we're seeing. All right, Arcturus Light, thank you so much. Okay, let's go ahead and move on a little bit more. This one here is from Christine Wise, 8798. Good evening, Brad. Is it possible to teach me how to remove any attachments on myself, please? Value your help. Okay. So if we're looking at attachments, okay, attachments themselves, there's two different types that I refer to. Number one is influencing attachments. Number two would be possessiveness, okay? And the possessive one is very, very rare. When we're looking into the influencer, it's kind of like feeling that you're just getting this influence to do something that you don't want to do. It's that influence where you feel like there's a lot of fear coming up, or you're getting a lot of blockages towards areas that were originally open. So wherever there's that feeling of attachments that's coming together, just pay attention to the thought, right? Because that's really where it all comes down together. If there's attachments, it's coming through thinking, it's coming through feeling, right? If I do not agree with that thought, if I do not agree with that feeling, I'm able to completely and totally dissolve it. Okay? So when that attachment feels like it's coming in, when it's showing itself in that way, and basically that's what it's trying to get you to do. It's trying to get you to kind of run an obstacle course so that it can feed off energy. And what you're doing is you're looking at that obstacle course, and maybe you're saying a blessing. Maybe you're bringing in the great light. Okay? Maybe you're calling into the Christ consciousness and you're clearing that away. That works. That's all fine. Maybe you're just Om chanting directly into it. But all these attachments want you to do is they want you to be a hamster on a wheel. They want you to run through an obstacle course. Okay? But these particular attachments, even though they are attachments, they're just reflections of consciousness. They're reflections of emotions. They are after effects relating to something that you've been battling for quite some time, whether that's sexuality, whether that's money, whether that's career, whether that's family problems, right? They basically kind of nudge you with an elbow. They throw some extra kerosene on the fire, trying to make it much more stronger, okay? And that's when you bring in the light. You can bring in the light and say, clear this, let this be gone, right? So for me to do that, I need to go into alpha theta. Again, I cannot do that in the beta state. In the beta state, that's just not going to work. You're still alone with your own thoughts. You're still alone with your own feelings. So when we're looking at the idea of removing attachments on yourself, go into the alpha theta. Feel where it is. Maybe it's something that you're feeling in the heart. Maybe it's something you're feeling in the abdomen. Maybe it's something you're feeling in the shoulders, the neck, the brain, wherever it may be. And just start to do the 3 exercises. As you start to do the 3 exercises and you can feel that feeling, that thought that's there, that just feels so out of place, give it to the light. Give it to the light. Give it to the Om. Give it to the Christ consciousness. Give it to God. And just say, just let this go. I release this. It's not me. I'm letting it go. I have to catch myself. I have to catch myself. I have to be aware of what I'm holding on to. And now that I've caught it, now I put it into the light. Now I let it go. Okay? Simple as that. Like I said, attachments are just mirror reflections of yourself. There are different types of reflections, but they're reflections nonetheless. Okay? So work with the light. But before working with the light, get into your substrata. That's the key. All right. Thank you very much. Let's go to Nelson. Nelson says, hello, Brad. In Portugal, we are being attacked by geoengineering storms like we have never seen before. Were we not supposed to be in the span of renewal? When will this madness end? This is all part of the span of renewal. Nelson, being in the span of renewal doesn't mean that you're going to have peaches and cream and rainbows and all that stuff. When you're looking at the idea of storms in that sense, here's the thing, guys. Most of the storms and most of the weather modification technology is actually being used by the Alliance right now. Okay? These storms, whether they're earthquakes or whether we call them storms or whether they're flash floods, whatever it may be, all of these things represent significant changes. Okay? So whether there's a lot of storms taking place, geoengineering taking place altogether, a lot of this can actually be on the Alliance side or the counterforces side, as I say, that's basically saying some words to the ruling elites, specifically in Portugal, because your Portugal country is still being run by elites. These storms are basically kind of passing messages on to them. It's like I said, guys, I have never ever subscribed to the idea that when you're looking at the alliances that they're all a bunch of white hats, because they're not. Okay? They are very gray hat with what they do. They will use storms. Look at what happened to the United States. The United States had a vast snowstorm. Hardly anybody's talking about it. Okay? But the majority of the states have been pummeled by snow, by very cold weather, super freezing cold weather. Guys, that's counterforces. That's alliance. Okay? That's basically a breakdown that's taking place. What's happening in Portugal is a breakdown taking place, saying, hey, you know what? We got control of the weather here. And if you're not following with what we're going to be doing, then we're going to be making things pretty rough for you. Okay? So Portugal is going to be going through some intense shifts, just as I've been saying. Let's go ahead and look at the tarot right now in regards to these geoengineered storms that are taking place in Portugal. Okay? And let's take a look at what's happening behind the scenes with them. So I'll look at the tarot for that. All right, so here we go. This is basically the takedown of elitists. Okay, this is the near future card, but that popped right up. And so there you go. This is an infighting. This is an infighting to let those elitists, those globalists, those cabals to let you know as, hey, we got your technology right now. And we're going to be knocking down the door with a lot of these particular storms. Even though they're storms, no one's real. It's not leading to a massive loss of life. Okay? And it's not leading to the idea of people being, having casualties in that particular way. It's an intense situation. It's scary. But this is all part of infighting that's taking place, right? Portugal, I feel, is on the verge of being liberated. Okay? So they're going to be going through some very big shifts relating to a lot of their cartels and cabals taking place here in Portugal. Okay? So what we're seeing here in the near future is for those elitists that are there in Portugal, they're going to have a very, very tough time ahead. There's going to be a lot of stress. There's going to be a lot of tension. There's going to be a knocking down the doors. So again, Nelson, what I've been talking about in 2026, what have I said? When I'm looking at the fire horse, what am I talking about? Did I say that everything's going to be just peachy and fine and pleasant? No, I said to you guys that this is going to be a year of a wrecking ball. A wrecking ball is going to be knocking down the infrastructures of your countries. There are going to be storms. There are going to be geoengineered aspects. Look at what happened in the United States. Look what's happening now in Portugal. Okay? That's all part of the plan. That's all part of what's going to happen this year. It is a fire horse year. A fire horse will rip down everything. It will knock down everything. It is a wrecking ball. It is not a pleasant year. The year of renewal is the idea of this new change that's coming together to basically bulldoze all of this old infrastructure that's happening in the way. It's shifting, it's clearing out. It's removing all the rubbish and having clear skies. And then we go into 2027, and that is much more of a time of containment. It's a time of compassion in many different ways. It's the goat year. Okay, the goat, it's a fire goat still, right? But the goat still represents compassion, nurturing, service to others, but it has that fire energy. Okay, so right now we're seeing walls get smashed, and then we're seeing a cleanup have to happen afterwards. I have never said that 2026, guys, is going to be a paradise year and that it's going to be about rainbows and whiskers on kittens and peaches and cream and all that. No, it is going to be a volatile year. Okay? It is going to be a time where you're going to see storms, you're going to feel earthquakes, you're going to feel those things, but they are not meant to hit casualties. Okay? They are the brutal knocks on the doors for these ruling elites. My God, guys, they are being hunted down from the planet. They are being hunted down everywhere they go. Not a single one of them can remain. They all got to go. And again, countries are going to get the brunt of these counterforces that are going to go in and hunt them down. And they will use storms and they will use earthquake technology. They will use weather modification. They will do all these things to bring these people down, because basically what's happening in Portugal and Spain, again, you've had these invaders, you've had intruders. Okay, you've had immigration that has come together, but they're utilizing that as a disguise, because what they're basically doing is planning a lot of these things to basically create civil wars in many different countries. And these storms that are coming are basically putting a halt on a lot of those particular agendas. And they're being bulldozed, and they're basically being completely and totally scrapped, right? Refuge is all that's going to be left of this. So as I've talked about for quite some time, we are looking at these geoengineering things. Of course, it's unfortunate that happens, but that's how they work. These counterforces are not white hats, okay? They're very gray hats. It's very hard. That's very much how they are. They will utilize the same weaponry. They will perform the same tactics on these ruling Kabbalists, because that's what they attract. A lot of these people are ex-Cabal, and that's how they act. That's how they work. They will break down the doors. They will see in Portugal and Spain and Germany and Australia and United States and Canada, etc., that there's going to be hostile action. That again, if you don't give yourselves up, you're going to be getting more of this. We're going to put crimps in your plans. Any particular plan you try to do, whether we're using weather modification technology, whether we got to write scripts for the media, whatever it is that we have to do, we are going to bury you. That's their plan. So Nelson, this is not a pleasant year. This is 2026. It is the year of the fire horse. It is the year of revolution. It's not a pleasant, go happy, rainbow type year. Okay? It is a wrecking ball year. So I want you to remember that. I've never said that this is going to be a pleasant year. There's going to be a lot of this stuff happening. It's all part of what needs to happen too. Okay, we're getting some more donation-based questions in here, so let me go ahead and go down here. Okay, so this one here is from Heather Wang. Heather Wang says, "Hi, Adronis. May I please have a general message for 2026? Okay, one moment. We are here, and we thank you very much, Heather, for the opportunity of your sharing with us today. If we were to tune into your energy right now, how do you feel about getting a new animal for your home? How do you feel about adding an animal companion to your space? Now, you can choose the type of companion, but we would suggest it's time for a new animal companion to enter your space, whether it's a cat, whether it's a dog, whether it's a bird, whatever it may be. For you to now give yourself the intention to invite a new member in your family to come together, because it's going to bring you a lot of bright spirit during this time. 2026 is a new beginning for you, a new transformation for you, and it's time to bring forward an animal companion into your life. That's what we would suggest. This is going to bring you a lot of joy. This is going to bring you a lot of comfort. This is going to bring you a lot of companionship. It's going to help you to think better. It's going to help you to plan better. You're going to feel that upliftment even when days seem dull. So, time for an animal companion. All right? We thank you for your question. That's beautiful. We just actually got a new kitten not too long ago as well, too. So we lost our old cats, but at the same time, we have a new kitten. They kind of crossed paths a little bit before our old cat got lost. But we have a new kitten. She's brightening up our world. She can be a handful at times. She's one of those tortoise-shell cats, right? Where they're kind of a mixture of orange and charcoal gray. And She's kind of obsessive compulsive, but she's a little sweetie. So we love her a lot. Her name's Lyra, right? Our little kitten. So Heather, it's time for you as well too to get an animal companion in your life. That's a beautiful message. Thank you. Okay, this one again is from Octurus Light. Brad, one more. Could you please perform a healing for my spine? My x-ray shows a mild scoliosis in my upper back. I've also been taking the mineral smoothies you recommend over the past month. That's good to hear. Okay, so we can work together with your spine altogether. I'd really work with the entirety of the spine. Okay, so just give me a few moments of silence here. I'm just going to tune into you, and we'll do that work right now. Here we go. Om. Okay, so Octurus Light, I've gone ahead and done some work on you. So again, a lot of emotional buildup in your spine. Okay, so specifically around the thoracic and even around the lumbar areas, there's a lot of stagnancy. It's kind of like looking at twisted wire, so to speak. Okay, so like I said, guys, we have to remember that joints of the body, when the body itself is unhealthy, the joints of the body are basically being used as dumping grounds for refuge. Okay, that refuge represents acid, represents mucus, represents all particular forms of, you could say, dried up toxicity, resins in that way. And these crystallized resins will form in joints of the spine. Spine is a very big dumping ground for a great deal of all of this toxicity, because the lymphatic system, our natural sewage systems of the body, are getting backed up. They're getting overwhelmed. They don't have time to get more and more stuff. They already have enough haul as it is. So what the body will do is it will deposit a great deal of this refuge and junk in the joints of the body. Your spinal joints, your knee joints, your elbow joints, right? All of the joints of the body are often used as dumping grounds. That is happening because the body is trying to keep the vital organs clean as best as it can. So again, what happens over time is when we get scoliosis in the middle upper back, middle back, because what I'm feeling is actually much more in the middle and lower areas of the back, funny enough. But maybe the upper back is taking a toll on that as well. But basically what happens is that all of that junk and refuge gets put into the spine, okay? And then we start getting defects of the spine. We notice that the spine may start to bend. The spine may start to be inflamed. There could be problems with the discs of the spine, etc. This is all because of inflammation and mucus, okay? All of that junk refuge that's being dumped in the spine, kind of like a landfill. So our goal is to basically flush a lot of it out. So when you're doing energy work, this is where you do something like solar plexus healing, right? With the left hand is being put here on the solar plexus. The right hand is being placed here on the back of the neck. And you're just taking a deep breath in, charging the left hand, and as you slowly exhale, you're channeling that energy out through the left arm, through the stomach, into the right arm, into the right palm, and into the back of the neck. And you're just continuing to repeat that pattern, and you're charging up the spine. As you charge up the spine, there's more charge that's coming into the joints of the spine that's going to help to release a lot of that refuge. Now, alkaline does a much more super efficient job, but this is also very good as well too, because you're giving your spine charge, okay? And that spine can now start to the charge of the spine can now start to navigate through the nervous system. It can now start to navigate through the organs. It can now start to navigate through the cells, and every part of your body is being charged up as you continue to do the solar plexus healing. So Arcturus Light, that is what I'd suggest you do as well too. Work with the solar plexus healing, right? Left hand here on the solar plexus. Take a deep breath in. Feel the left hand getting charged as you finish your inhale. As you exhale very slowly, feel that current flowing through the arm, down through the stomach, up through the arm, and into the right palm, and then dispersing through the spine, giving it a charge, okay? And then just visualize that that's moving through the nervous system, that's moving through the organs, that's moving through the cells, and now your entire body is getting charged up just after doing a few repetitions of this, right? We want to keep doing repetitions until we start feeling that charge. That's a very, very beneficial thing. That'll help to sweep clean a lot of refuge, especially built up in the joints, okay? So again, doctors like to give things funny names. And the reason why they give them funny names is because they don't even really know what's going on, okay? And I don't speak with the medical profession. I'm not medical professional. I'm not a professional medic. I don't want to be, because their system's not accurate, okay? I work together with the terrain body. I work together with what ancient herbalists have gone through for thousands of years, where they work with body terrain, where the idea of a terrain body is the natural diagnosis, okay? And again, it's just as Dr. Sebi, who had been doing this work for 40 years, discovered, is that everything is really in disarray because of mucus, right? Mucus basically comes in and it clogs everything up, right? We do have inflammation, we do have acids, we do have mucus, but mucus is the one that's basically coming in that's causing the most problems, right? Inflammation itself can be cleaned out, it can be cooled. But what the problem is all that mucus that remains, all of that resin, hard deposits of mucus, that becomes the real culprit. And that's what we're training our body to start cleaning out, is getting all that mucus out of there. And what's the best way for that? Alkaline. Okay? This is exactly what a lot of the ancients knew. They didn't call it alkaline, they call it herbs, herbal medicine. Herbal medicine is the answer. And I've been saying that for years, even before I even knew about Dr. Sebi. Okay, but he's the guy that has actually got it right. Okay, let's go down to another donation-based question. How are we on time? About 15 minutes left. Hi, Brad. Can you check if I should keep buying gold and silver in 2026? I can't tell you that, okay? I cannot give you guys financial advice. Please don't ask me for that, okay? What I can tell you is that gold and silver will start to be on the rise in 2026. I've looked at this previously. Okay, gold and silver are going to start rising up. Okay, gold specifically, gold's going to have a comeback here. Gold is going to start hitting really, really hard here very quickly, specifically in 2026. I will not in any way tell you guys how to invest. Okay, please don't ask me. I am not a financial advisor. Okay, all I'm telling you guys is what I'm seeing here with the energies of things. But I will never give you advice about, oh, go buy this or go buy that or go take care of this, right? I'll tell you about XRP. I'll tell you about Bitcoin. I'll tell you about gold and silver. But I'm never going to tell you guys to invest in this, invest in that. That's not my job. That's not my description. Please don't ask me for that, okay? We can look at energy forecasts. We can look at the idea of how things are going. And like I said, I've done that recently with gold and silver. Gold is going to be shooting up. Gold's going to be getting stronger. Silver will be kind of slowly behind, but gold is going to be making a very big surge. Okay, 2026, 2027 are going to be sweet years for that. That's up to you to decide what you want to do with that. That's your call as a human being. I am not going to tell you what to invest in, but I'm letting you know that gold is going to start rising. You do what you want with it. Okay, that's your call. All right, thank you very much. So again, guys, please remember, I mean, I get a lot of crypto questions and a lot of stock market questions, and I'm not going to answer anything in regards to, do you think I should invest in this? No answer, no response. I don't care if you've donated. Okay, I don't mind looking at their energies, but I'm never going to give you advice for that. So please just ask that you respect that and don't ask. Okay, otherwise you're doing a donation. I said, sorry, I'm not going to help you with that. I do not want to paint that image on myself. That is a horrible image. I am not a financial broker. I am not a crypto broker, nor do I want to. That is an ugly energy to me. I don't want to touch it. So please don't let me touch it. Okay? But energy, yes, of course, we can look at energy. We can look at momentum. That's fine. Okay, let me just see where I was here. Ricardo says, feels like you are talking directly to me. I feel like that. Well, that's good. I'm glad that I feel like I'm talking to you a lot, because I'm trying to talk to all of you here, right? I know there's some people that get questions from me personally, but what happens when I have those personal questions, here's the thing, guys, and you may not believe me, but I can tune into you guys, and I can kind of feel like you're asking questions with me telepathically at the same time I'm trying to talk to somebody personally. And that's why sometimes I can go off course, because I can feel the people that are watching this transmission right now, and I can feel like there's just these intersecting thoughts that are coming up at the same time, even if I'm trying to help somebody personally. If that happens, hey, it happens, but that's kind of what's going on. Okay, let's go on here. So that's why that happens, just in case that does take place. Okay, so just give me a moment here, guys. I'm just kind of looking through the chat just to see how things are going here. Okay. Okay, we got another donation here from Panther. Hi, Brad. I have been drinking the mineral smoothie for 2 months now and feeling better. Great. However, what else is my weakest link of the body? Well, let's go ahead and take a look here, just as I'm tuning into you right now. Weakest link of the body. It's like I'm trying to find what priority is. I'm getting a few things. Okay, if there's one thing that Panther should be working on, what should it be? The brain. The brain. The brain. The brain. Okay, so the brain is your top priority. Okay, the reason being is because, guys, there's such a thing as mucus in the brain. Okay, tinnitus is a mucus effect. Okay, that is something that's actually happening within the brain. There's an inflammation in the brain pertaining to tinnitus. Okay, and that is mucus in the brain. So we want to basically have things that will help to clean out a lot of that. So like I said, energy work will do it. As I've talked about, working with the solar plexus healing is one good way of doing it. Working with, again, charging yourself up and just seeing light come in, right? Just visualizing light. But what you always want to do is when you're purging, you want to go from the top down, okay? Not the bottom up. I've even made that mistake in the past as well, too. When you're purging energies, do not go bottom up, okay? Go top down, okay? So it's like you're basically seeing this pillar of white light as you're doing deep breath work. Okay, that deep breath work, again, going into the substrata, is charging you up. And then you're seeing that pillar of white light, and just feel like that pillar of white light is just pushing everything down. It's pushing everything down. It's pushing through your shoulders. It's pushing through your arms, pushing through your hands, pushing through your legs, pushing all the way down to the bottom of your feet. You want to evacuate detoxified waste out through the bottom of the feet. Okay, you never ever try to put it up to the top of the head. Like I said, I've had the mistake of that in the past too. But you never do that, okay? That's the wrong way. That's kind of like watching a car going down a one-way street, the wrong way of it, okay? So we don't want to do that. We want to push everything down, okay? And let it purge right down to the bottom of the feet, okay? And then when we're elevating ourselves, when we're starting to bring in pure energy, then it's from the bottom up, okay? So top down with evacuating detoxified waste, okay? Bottom up when we're rejuvenating ourselves, okay? From the feet going all the way up to the top of the head. So again, like I said, that can be like a golden light or anything of that nature. Again, sweet vibrations, just moving up through the body. Don't even have to worry so much about color vibrations. Do it transparent if you want. or just do white if you want. That's fine. But just being able to bring all of that up, okay? The most beneficial, of course, is really just working with the Om. The Om really goes in and it clears everything out tremendously, okay? So Panther, that is what I would suggest, is just working with the brain. There's a few areas. I was seeing liver, I was seeing stomach, I was seeing joints, but I would say the brain, okay? Keep doing the smoothie. The smoothie is really going to help you. But like I said, guys, alkaline is long-term. It's meant to be long-term. It's not a patch job, okay? When we're doing alkaline work, guys, we don't do alkaline because we want a patch job, okay? We want alkaline because it's going to be long-term health, okay? It's rewiring everything. It's taking these wires and it's plugging them back in. But it's got a lot of work to do. Your body is a universe within itself. And that's like having these squadrons coming in through the entire universe trying to clean it up, right? We need more and more and more squadrons. And we need a lot of alkaline into our body, but we don't take it all at once. We have to gradually take it over time. And there are some professionals out there that says if you give us 3 years, we'll clean up your entire body. And that can work. That can work for certain protocols. It's not the way with alkaline, okay? With alkaline, it could probably take under a year. Okay, under a year, and you start building up your body with pure alkaline. Okay, it just depends in regards to, are you replacing your old diet completely with your brand new alkaline diet? If you are, you're going to be going places really fast, right? So if you're taking that smoothie, great. Are you starting to integrate more alkaline foods into your body daily? Are you doing intermittent fasting? Okay, are you basically eating for 8 hours and then taking 16 hours off? Are you eating for 6 hours and then taking, eating for 8, 16, or 18, 6, or 20 and 4, right? Or again, you may start to, as you start to get better at this, you might want to eat it all for 3 days. You're just basically drinking water and having your alkaline. Now, I'm not doing that for any particular course, but that's what can happen. The reason why is because I haven't met you, I haven't talked to you in person, and that is really what would be required, right? I'm not going to do that virtually with people. So, okay, guys, I don't want you to eat for 7 days. Okay, I'm not going to do that because I haven't met you. I don't know you in that particular way, and I'm not going to recommend that. The closest thing I can recommend through a virtual means here is just intermittent fasting, okay? So you start working with intermittent fasting together with incorporating as much alkaline into your body as possible. And then over time, you're going to see things radically change. Okay. But again, I can't go to the extremes like Dr. Sebi did because he would meet people and he would say, okay, I don't want you to eat any food for 7 days. And I just want you to take these supplements. I want you to take these tablets, or not tablets, the vegetable capsules, and have some sea moss. Okay. And that's really been his quote unquote prescription. Okay. But I can't do that because I'm not seeing you guys in person. Okay. Seeing you in person, different story. But doing this virtually, we have to kind of keep it safe. We have to keep it within protocols here. And the best thing I could give you guys is full alkaline, intermittent fasting. That's what I can suggest. Okay? Thank you, Panther, for your question. How are we on time? Okay, got about 5 minutes left. We got one here from Vice Lena. Brad, I'm working with putting lights from source on my mitochondria system. Lighting up every cell and using the Om as you suggested. And so far is working on my overall health and more energy. That's it. That's all you got to do. Just make sure you're in substrata. Okay. Make sure you're in the alpha theta. Do not do this work, guys, if you're in beta. Okay. Take some time. Do the 3 exercises. Get yourself into that state of the substrata. Then start working with exactly what Vicelina here is saying. Okay. Working with light systems and the mitochondria levels and lighting up every cell with the Om. Great. That's exactly what we want to do. But we just want to make sure that we're aligned properly, okay? If we're doing all this work and we're not aligned, it's not going to have an impact. It's like trying to hold water in your hands, okay? It's not going to bind. We can't bind in beta. We have to bind in alpha, theta, delta. So that, again, is very important. We want to make sure that we're going into the substrata, all right? Very good. Thank you for your question. This one here is from Lily. I just got a big all caps here. Hi, Brad. Can I ask for Akashic Records insights about any lifetimes that are most significant right now for me? You have to put down a donation, okay? I can't do personal readings without donation-based, okay? And we're just about to wrap up here, so we'd have to probably wait till next week, okay? Guys, if you want a personal reading, it has to be by donation. Okay, I'm not doing it for free here. This is by donation. Okay, you can ask general questions for free, no problem. Personal questions are by donation. Samard Gaddaf, I think, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name right. Samard Gaddaf. Question: how do we tap into the Akashic records? That's a long story. I'll try my best to give you an elevator version without having to talk about any particular type of techniques. The Akashic records are you. And like I said, the deeper that you're able to go into the substrata, the more that the records will become revealed to you. Okay? So there's a lot of training involved. There's a lot of breath work. There's keeping your spine straight. There's keeping yourself well. You want to learn to be an open and receptive vessel, but you're learning to go a lot more deeper into the substrata. And you're letting the idea of non-locality bring you answers rather than the locality of your own memory. So what you're learning to do is transcend the nature of your own localized memory. By localized memory, I'm just referring to like egoic thoughts. What you think you already know as the conscious self membrane. And then expanding yourself out by going into much more non-locality. Non-locality, right hemisphere of the brain, opening up the chakra centers, getting yourself into the substrata, and just letting yourself expand, and therefore creating a point, a fixed point of something that you want to know. And then going to that fixed point and relying on the non-localized information to come through you as a channel to let that information become known. That is the elevator version of entering the Akashic records. But you have to be trained. You have to learn about doing this. This is exactly what I teach you guys. That's what I've taught, actually, in the Adronis Patreon. Okay, in patreon.com/Adronis, if you guys sign up, whether it's the first tier or the second tier, you'll get full access to this. I've taught a lot of things in the Adronis Patreon class that you cannot get on YouTube. Okay, and I do that on purpose because I'm not here to teach everybody to do the Akashic records, because I don't know who's serious on YouTube. It's just a bunch of passer-goers here. So that's why I don't really teach that much of advanced stuff. Basic stuff I teach, and I got that stuff on my playlists here on my YouTube channel. The BCR technique, the cord removal, healing, conflict elimination, etc. Right? All of that's there because those are basic techniques. Okay, getting into the much more advanced stuff to work with the Akashic records, that's more deeper training, and I like to work with people, actually being able to interact with them. Okay, so that's why it's on Adronis Patreon. And then you come on to the weekly classes, you ask about the Akashic records a lot more, we start revisiting them. Okay, so that in a nutshell is giving you the idea of the Akashic records. All right, everybody, thank you very much for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. I will again see you guys next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, I'm bringing in Athena of the Delphi. So she will be here, and we'll be doing an empathic interfacing live with Athena of the Delphi, and she can check in with us, see how things are going on her end. All right, take care, guys. I will see you all next week. Again, check out patreon.com/Adronis. Check out www.AetherX, that is AetherX.co. And again, we have physical products that are available for Americans, right? You don't have to dread about the whole idea of the trade war that's happening. Our products are not affected by that, okay? And again, wisdomtransmissions.com is still open. I'm not doing private sessions anymore. I'm going to be doing a mentoring and coaching, but that's going to be happening probably around the time of March or so. Okay, I'm also working on a couple of different projects right now. So busy. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaskar, and may it be well with you. Bye for now.